Starting to take it all off now. He just bit my leg. He's annoyed that I'm up there. He actually bit my leg a little bit, not bad. Seeing if he's relaxed to this flag. Now I'm gonna send him into lead beside. So now, because I know he can do lead beside, now I'm gonna use this flag as a desensitizing tool and a sensitizing tool. So I'm okay with that. That was pretty good. Now let's see if I can desensitize to rest. Get behind him with this. I like these licking and chewing. Notice how I approach him. I don't hide it from him, but I want to make it less intimidating by putting my body between it and him. He's being curious about it, so I'll just let him check it out. Starting to take it all off now. And I'll let him just drag that lead rope around. I kind of keep an eye on him. So the question is, yesterday you were lunging him around. He was doing lunging okay, but when you tried to get him to lope, he started rearing up, and he reared real high. And he was relatively away from you, like not close enough to strike you, but you weren't close enough to strike him, basically, right? One of the reasons I love a stick and string is because I've got 10 feet of reach here. I've got a 4-foot stick and a 6-foot string. And so when I can reach out there 10 feet and tap that horse. So if I got a horse back there that does that, and I keep my string in my hand, and I hold the string with my 3 fingers like this. I hold my thumb on top of the stick on the handle, and then 3 to 4 fingers go under here. And so when really all 4 fingers are on the bottom. Then when I need to drop the string and use it, I just open up those fingers, and now I can spank with this stick and string. So a lunge whip is harder to do that with because there's so much flexibility to it. When you go to spank, it's like and it takes all of your power. This, you got a lot of power with it because there's very little bend to it. There's some, but not much. So I love the stick and string. That's just what I prefer. I rarely train with a lunge whip. Sometimes I do just to desensitize them, get them used to it, because it has a higher pitch sound like that. And that can be, some horses will get scared of that. So even if you can't reach him, if he's rearing up, you want to keep pointing. Even if you're down here and pointing with your elbow, because it's a lot of pressure, right? You're not going to be able to hold your arm up here. So that's a big lever arm that's just going to take you like this. But you're just keep pressure on it, and then keep swinging your stick, and then drop that string and swing. And even if it's a lunge whip, just spank, and try to get him to move back and away from you, and just keep that pressure on. Don't get any closer to him. Keep the pressure on, and when he comes down, and don't release necessarily when he comes down, release when he starts to move away from you or back from you. That's how I would do it. Okay, let's go to a flag. So I just want to see, some horses are fine with the stick and string, and then they're freaking out by a flag. Some horses are okay with all of it. So I'm using the follow it principle, drawing him into me, seeing if he's relaxed to this flag. Now I'm going to send him into lead beside. I'm going to see if he's reactive at all to this flag. So now, because I know he can do lead beside, now I'm going to use this flag as a desensitizing tool and a sensitizing tool. So if I have to, I'm going to use that flag to get him out of my space or to move forward. But it's always following my cue to speed him up first. So I'm going to point, cluck, and then use my flag. If I'm just desensitizing with a flag, I'm just going to wave it as he's going around. So I'll just wave it above his head. Go right to left here above his back. He's a little bothered by that. And I might even let him slow down to a walk here and just do it at a walk. So up above his head, he's a little bothered, but not bad. Yield his hindquarters, go the other way. I'm okay with that. That was pretty good. Now let's see if I can desensitize to rest. Get behind him with this. I like these licking and chewing. I'm going to go ahead and approach this offside from the back end because he seemed ready for it. Good boy. And let's see what he thinks about this plastic sheet. Probably no big deal. Notice how I approach him. I don't hide it from him, but I want to make it less intimidating by putting my body between it and him. He's being curious about it, so I'll just let him check it out. Now, typically with a plastic sheet like this or a tarp, I try to avoid allowing them to bite it at first, because what happens is they get curious about it, they bite it, and then they start to move and it comes with them, and then they clench their teeth and then they freak out. And it usually causes a problem where it takes me a month to get them over that. It's crazy. So if they go to try to nip at it, I'll just kind of pull it away. That's just me. That goes over to his offside and he's not really that bothered by it. That's good. Yeah, I'm not concerned about that. So most likely this is going to be a horse that you can ride in the neighborhood and he's not going to be freaked out by too many things, you know, from what I see so far. Some horses will surprise you. They'll be just dog gentle in the arena and then you take them out and they're freaked out about everything. They might just... But him, I know he has a lot of experience out on the trail, so he's real curious. He hasn't even broke a sweat yet. I love how light he is off that back there. Pressure to back him up. Now I'm just going to desensitize with this lead rope a little bit. See if he's okay with me flipping it over his head. A little nervous about that. Let's get his attention. Keep getting his attention. Want 2 eyes on me. And probably the biggest reason why he's being a little reactive to my throwing the rope over his head is because I was having to jerk down on that rope to get him to back up. So he's like, is that what's gonna happen? So it's a little, so I'm always aware of that. Like if I have to put extra pressure on them where they do this, then they might be reactive when I start desensitizing with it. But that's why desensitizing and sensitizing is so important. Make sure you get them to move with tools and make sure you get them to relax with the same tools. Doesn't mind that at all. I'm going to ask for some lateral flexion. He's not sensitive in his flank. Pretty good. Yeah, I love that he's just not reactive to ropes and the stick and string. He really is kind of dog gentle, like kind of a mom-proof type horse. That's the kind you guys like, right? A little more resistant to lateral flexion to his right side. Not bad. Good boy. See if I can counter flex him. Pretty good. Not worried about me being in his off eye. Let's do a full 360 turnaround. Full turnaround with this lead rope. Pretty good. A little resistant at first. A lot of horse training is all about setting up pressure and then letting them figure out how to get out of it. When you create the puzzle and then they figure that puzzle out, then you got a lot of learning going on. So I'm just setting up pressure. See, that was much better that time. Good boy. He's not worried about pressure with that rope on his legs. Now I'm doing some forward bending with desensitizing with my hands and body. Part of this is just to kind of correct any irritation that he might have for me being hugging on him here. So I know he's not going to be reactive to me. Didn't like that. So before I jump on their back, I want to make sure that he's okay with my feet touching on his legs. A little better. He's probably like, I haven't had somebody play footsies with me ever. For some reason, he doesn't like to play footsies with me. So right here, his withers are quivering for a second there. So he's not 100% fond of me laying on his back here. I like it. I might just take a nap right here. He's got such soft skin, it's kind of slippery. Pretty good. So yeah, he quivers a little up there. And sometimes, you know, that might mean he hasn't really had somebody bareback on him much, or he's just a little bothered on his back by that pressure. So I'll look for signs of anything that bothers him with the saddle on and me in the saddle. What do you think about me up here? He just bit my leg. Ooh. So he's annoyed that I'm up there. He actually bit my leg a little bit, not bad, you know, he didn't bruise it or anything, but I just picked my foot up and tapped him in the muzzle when he did that, and then he kind of corrected him, but we'll want to watch for that when I saddle him and start riding him and just see, you know, what his behavior is like. If he gets real irritable, I'll push him forward and really move his feet. Partly I want to brush him because I want to see how he is with this brush on his back. And this is a soft brush. Some horses will get real sensitive to that, depending on the stiffness of the bristles. Okay. Gracias. All right, we'll go ahead and get him saddled. Let him check this new saddle out. So he's definitely kind of curious about the saddle. Just testing for cinchiness, just pulling up, releasing, pull up, release. Pretty good. Tighten that up enough where the saddle's not going to slip, but not so much that it's real constrictive. Now when I first saddle a horse, usually I do it without a stick and string in my hand. I want to have both hands on my lead rope. Just in case I have to manage, if he goes to buck or kick or something, I want to have both hands where I can pull him around and do something about it more effectively. Oh. Oh. Pretty good. Now I'm going to get my effective stick and string. Now sometimes horses have a hard time backing up when the saddle's on, because it's constricting and they feel like they're backing into pressure. Just checking him on that. Not bad. Whoa. Whoa. Kind of walk through that stop there. And that's typical when you get a saddle on there. They don't stop quite as well. I don't know, he might could be like a Western pleasure horse if you ever wanted to do something like that. You just want pleasure? What a beautiful thing to be doing on a Saturday morning, right? Whoa. 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 Better stop. Now I'm going to go ahead and tighten his cinch ride tight. What I call ride tight. Whoa. Now there he's getting a little too close to me. When he changes directions, I want him to move those shoulders away from me. Whoa. Do that a few more times. Whoa. Better. Whoa. Better. Whoa. He's pretty balanced. He obviously has a lot of time loping. He rarely crossfires. Picks up the correct lead like 95% of the time. Good boy. Now do some lead beside and desensitize on that saddle. Make sure he's not reactive to that. Oh. Oh. Forward bending. Yield. I kind of take him through the same exercises I do without the saddle on, but usually it's shorter. I'm testing to see how that saddle affects his movement. And so far he's been pretty similar. That transition from a hind quarter yield to a forequarter yield was a little rough there. Let's try it again. So hind quarter yield, open up. That was better. Change sides. Yield. rarely even notice the airplanes until I'm filming, and then I'm like, wow, there's a lot of planes. Yield. Yield. Get that butt out of the way. I want a little more speed through this pass through. Side pass. We kind of figured the side pass out earlier. Get that hip away from me. Good boy. Oh. Good boy. Good boy. Pick those feet up. That was good. The cool thing about him is he'll try pretty hard as long as he understands that pressure is coming. Correct those hips. Right there. So his backing is going to need some work, but not bad. You know, he understands. He has a slightly pushy personality, and so backing isn't his forte, but you know, you can see how nice his headset gets when he feels some pressure on his nose. Definitely his back with the saddle on is a little rougher. He's not as smooth or doesn't move quite as well. He's really got a pretty nice frame. He's got good straight legs. For his hooves being a little long, they still look pretty nice. I like his bone structure. Desensitize with that flag during lead beside. Make sure he can do that with the saddle on. Pretty good. Now I'm doing what I call 2-point desensitizing. So I'm taking this flag and waving it around while at the same time touching it with my hand. Sometimes this can kind of set him off. It can be more reactive because I'm touching him. But he's really good with that. Okay, I'm gonna put a bridle on him, then I'm gonna get him to walk over a tarp, and then we'll do some riding. Now I'm gonna go ahead and use just a snaffle bit with him just to see how he responds to that. I'm guessing he's been used to other things too, like any shank bits. Okay. So he's a little resistant to let me put the bit in his mouth. I probably wasn't patient enough. Thank you. So he's chewing on that bit pretty good, which, you know, I don't know how used to a snaffle bit he is. Sometimes it's just the bit, the broken mouthpiece, and it's the snaffle that they're not used to, and so they might chew on that more. What's that? Yeah. That's kind of his nature. He's biting the lead rope, biting the bit. So it's more of a just he likes to chew on something versus doesn't like it in his mouth. Yeah. Oh, okay. Did he roll it? He liked to roll it. So snaffle with the roller in the middle. So it's like a dog bone snaffle with a roller. So that would probably be a great one to have, you guys, to wear with them. Just gonna weigh this down a little. You gotta play in the dirt at some point. I'm always finding stuff in my sand. Okay, now I'll just ask him to come across this tarp. Oh. 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 He's obviously not bothered by it. I'm trying to get him to stop on it. Oh, there he goes. So the way I work on getting him to stop on something like this, or stop alongside a trailer or something, if I'm doing pass through. So this is a pass through exercise over a tarp. And I'll just, if I want him to keep going, I keep my hand up, my lead hand. If I want him to stop, I'll just drop my hand. That's my cue to stop. And then I'll say, whoa. And so sometimes I'll help him a little by putting some back pressure on like that, just a little bit. But, you know, most horses have a hard time stopping on this because they're nervous about it. He's not nervous about it.